Construction champions, it's your host, Ron Nussbaum, and we're here for another episode of Construction Champions Podcast, where we're burning the damn house down and we're rebuilding it professionally, personally, any way you want to look at it. It's time for a revolution in the construction industry, and that is what we're here doing. I'm super excited today for our guest, Shaq. It is great to have you here today.
Great to be here. Great to be here, Ron. Great to be here. Appreciate you.
Hey, man, I'm excited to have a conversation with you today. I know all the construction champions are as well, but why don't you introduce yourself to them? Let them know who you are and what got you here to today.
Man, I'm Shaquille Cornelius, best known as Shaq Conquers. I'm from the Bay Area, born and raised, California. And my family, I come from a long line of construction guys. My grandfather helped build the bridge. My dad came in afterward when the big hurricane hit. I want to say 90, I think the 1990s and the 80s hit the Bay Area, and then we wind up building a construction company from there. And from there, it spared my ears to go into it. And I started to take it from there we were really commercial. And then I went into the realm of just residential. And now I'm going back to commercial as well, just because of the state we're in. Because, we have a lot of commercial buildings, warehouses, abandoned hotels that we need to do something with. And I want to be the person spearheading that. I'm now in Texas. I'm a Texas boy now. So I'm excited about that as well. But yeah, I'm great. I'm excited to be here. Ready to just go full in on this, man. I appreciate you, Ron.
Awesome, man. Well, I love it. I'm super excited. I always love when I get a guest on here that's roots is in the construction industry, because there's so much that you learn growing up around that. I didn't. I grew up working on cars and then ended up in construction when I got in the Marine Corps. So I love having guys that are third, fourth, second generation on here.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive right in, and I'm going to ask the $1 million question, and that is, what makes a construction champion?
Ever found yourself revisiting a project because of a small miscommunication? It's frustrating and costly. That's why I switched to BuilderComms. Their construction communication management solution cuts through the noise, ensuring my team is always on the same page. Now, missteps are rare and rework is a thing of the past. Ready to streamline your projects? Check out BuilderComms today.
How he treats his guys. I think your guys are the most important factor of your business, because they make or break it. Your reputation, what you guys are is more or less you. I'm not out there swinging hammers out there. I may do a little demo, and that's if I'm in the area to be able to go in there to see the guys, bring some food, a little lemonade here and there. If we have hot days, and just make sure we have tarps covering, so when it is maybe a little rainy, a little wet outside, that they have it. It's just I've learned business in general is about people, and your guys, they have families, they have friends, and the better you treat them, the more they come to work happy and they come to work ready to go. So I think construction champion is somebody that cares about the guys that work with them. I always never say they work for me. I work with them. Without them, I wouldn't have a business. Without them, my family wouldn't have a business over the last 3 generations.
Well, that's 100% true. And I think you said something pretty amazing in there, where you're like, the better I treat them, the happier they are everywhere, and the happier they are to come to work. I hear, I'm in North Carolina over by the ocean, and I hear all the time, like, if guys around here are like, if the surf is good or if fishing's good, their guys just don't come to work. And, it's just different here. And I just don't buy into that, because when I was in construction in Michigan, like, we had the same kind of stuff. It might not have been surf and fishing, and I'm sure you have the same stuff in Texas. So they're just stuff people do. But if you create an environment where people are happy to come to, they want to, it affects their entire life. They're not just going to be like, I'm going to throw this away on this day right here because I want to go do something.
Correct. And to just piggyback off what you said, is just people value being valued. And if I know I'm giving it my all and this person is going to pay me what I'm worth, and they're going to care about my family, going to care about when my daughter gets sick and I have to leave because she's throwing, my wife is at the office. We're going to care if, I have a loss in the family and it's not rushing back. It's those small intangibles that some companies lose, because it's like this next man up situation where I don't want someone to feel like they're just another number in a cog in a system where, it's hard to find good people that want to work for you, that want to take your business like it's theirs and take that ownership of just being like, when they see a building or a house or even a space that they built, that they're saying, I built that, me and my guys built that. And that's where I want to be able to do for them. It's like, you guys make me look good, not the other way around.
That's so true. And for some reason, it can be hard for guys to get to where you're talking about. I mean, you're talking about that championship level of that team. That's what has to happen. In order to win championships, you have to have this understanding of exactly what you're talking about. But in the construction industry, there can be a real disconnect. I think it's why we get a lot of people just, you see resumes and they've worked a lot of different places. It's probably, I'm going to say 70-30, like 70% of the time it's probably not the person, it's all the different companies, and 30% of the time the person might have a problem. But
Exactly.
That's what good interviewing does. But what do you tell the companies out there that are just constantly cycling through people? Like, how do they get better at this? What can they do to up their game?
I really believe in, I should not be hiring people. That's not my expertise. I think a lot of guys who run their companies, like, I need to hire every person that goes in. I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert at hiring. I'm not. I've from the moment I've turned over HR to either an HR company or I actually outsourced it, it's made life a lot easier because there's things that I would overlook. I'm big on character. Oh, if I have a good feeling about this person, I want to hire this person, right? And sometimes it works. I'll say it's like a 60-40, but when they're going off of applications where you do personality checks, you look at people, what their past experience was, their references, and what the person says about them, where there's an actual rap sheet you go through, rather than it's just, okay, I see your resume, I think I like you, I feel I could trust you, and then we're gonna go try this out. And that's usually where most guys come. Because I mean, we're all small companies. I mean, maybe some companies out there is making tens of millions of dollars, but just for the little guy that's making $1 million or $2 million or $5 million a year with this business, and I mean, that's at 20-30% margins, probably $200,000-$300,000 a year take home. You have to make a decision on how you want to spend your time. And yes, you should meet the people that you hire, but I don't think it should be your job explicitly to hire these people. You hire your guys because it takes away for certain things. Because now they look at you as like, there must be, and not to sound wrong, there must be a hierarchy. It has to be a bit of distance where it's not, they can call you whenever they want to call you. And they can reach out to you, or they can decide, well, we're friends, so I can treat you how I would treat a friend. I mean, if I don't want to come to work, then I mean, I can talk or call you whenever. Whereas this respect of like, he's doing important business and I'm doing important business. We're at different spectrums of it. And I go down, like I said, we're closing on a multi-family, a 20 unit, where I'm going to be there the first week. I'm going to swing an axe with them. I'm going to be with them. I'm going to be in the trenches with them, let them know, like, I'm not a removed from getting dirty, but at the same time, I want you guys to understand, like, this is serious business. When we come to work, it's a serious business. You know what I mean? I want us to have fun. I want us to enjoy it, but this is serious business. And I think that's the biggest thing, of understanding what you do best and how you can better not be a bottleneck of your own business. And a lot of times for me, early stages, I was a bottleneck.
I mean, you're just dropping fire. Like that's the what you started with there and then ended with, like that is one of the biggest things in construction. Like we're all own bottlenecks. Like you said, you don't need to be involved in hiring everybody. You know, you need to know who they are, but if it's not like a management or leadership role, do you really need to be involved in the hiring process? Like if you have the right systems in place and you're working with the right HR company or you have your own HR, they should understand who your ideal client or ideal candidate looks like and be able to bring them in and then get them onboarded because you have that hierarchy. Like that's
Correct.
how businesses are just built, and having an understanding that you are there to do what you're really, really good at, I think is one thing we have a hard time of getting out of our own way in the construction industry because we're just naturally builders, we're fixers. Like you just want to be involved in fixing something because that's why you're in construction. And we feel like, oh, I should just be fixing everything in this business, but you shouldn't. You should lean into, like you said, what's your strength and go do that.
Correct. Correct. But I mean, it takes a while. It takes a couple of takes a couple of quarters of you of breaking even, and you're like, oh, man, I mortgages barely got paid, and you start to wonder like, well, I'm doing so much, but it's not moving the ball forward.
Mhm.
And I think that's where a lot of us get stuck at, of just like, I'm everywhere doing everything, but I feel like nothing's getting accomplished.
Moving the ball forward. That is what happens in construction is we just end up sitting there and we end up spinning our wheels and not ever, we're just busy. But like you said, not the financial ends of it, nothing changes. We just keep whatever, and we figure. I hate when I hear like, well, I'll just go wrap that up. Well, there's other shit you could be doing. Like, don't go sling mud and do some drywall because you feel like that gets that job wrapped up. All you're doing is now making it acceptable across the board that if push comes to shove, you will go sling mud. And that's the wrong impressions to be giving people because that's people won't get their shit done unless you just make it like, I'm not going to come do that.
Mhm. Correct. Correct. I couldn't agree more.
Awesome, man. Well, I'd say you're wise above your years when it comes to construction and business and everything. I think you're doing an amazing job. It sounds like you have an amazing operation, and I would definitely say that growth is in your future.
Uh, you know what I learned too? And the internet is funny this way, and I think there's pros and cons of it. My father didn't have to deal with it, my grandfather had to deal with it. It's just they stayed in their lane, right? Like they stood, grandfather concrete. That's what he knew. That's what he did. You know what I mean? He took his time scaling that. My dad was very much infrastructure. That was his thing. You know, my generation, it's like scale, 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 do everything, jack of all trades. And you start trying to do all these things. Okay, oh, concrete does make money. Oh, I can do roofing. Oh, and if I add solar to the roofing, I can get, all these things you're throwing at you where it's just keep the main thing the main thing. It's so good at what the main thing was that it gets to a point where people outside of where your target audience is now begging and asking, can you do the work? And I think that's the thing on top of being a bottleneck is the distraction of trying to do all these things because you are a business and you need to make money. But at the same time, you may have to lose a little bit before you start winning. And nobody wants to lose.
Yeah, but I mean, what you're talking about is, I mean, it creates bottlenecks for the guys. Like if you bring on a bunch of guys that are like, this is what we do here, and then you throw something else and you expect them to be able to jump, they're not going to do it as efficiently. And you end up losing money because that's not like it's crazy. Like you said, when everybody wants to scale, but they don't want to do the foundation work to be able to scale. Like you have to understand this stuff before you can even grow like your core offering. Like just what you do to grow that, you have to understand it and be profitable at that. I think guys chase top line revenue because they think that will fix the profitability problem, but it doesn't. All it does is it literally creates more of a loss.
And then you got change orders, you got tickets, you got things. There's laws, there's policies about things you don't know. You just say, "Oh, I'm gonna do." I'm like, how long permits is gonna take? Your guys are sitting, you're moving them here, then you're moving them back there. You have multiple projects. Like scalability is something I spoke about, but I think if your infrastructure of your business is not solid foundation, it can kill your business. It's almost killed me. You know, I didn't want to listen. I'm young. I'm like 23, 24. I know what I'm doing. I'm making it. I'm like, you guys are old. Dad, you're old. Uncle, you're old. You guys are doing it the harder way. This is the easy way to do it. I have Instagram. I have Twitter. I have all these marketing techniques. I have all these things that's going to help me, you know, and I have friends that do this and we can all join together. Then I didn't think about JV partnerships or LOCs that I have to put together. I didn't think about the contracts that have to be signed. How do you split it up? Who does what? Who does this? It's not as simple as, oh, I like you, you like me, you do what I do. We do things together. Let's do this. This is not basketball. This is not pickup. You know, it's not just, oh yeah, I like your game, you like my game. Let's get on the team. Let's play. You know, it's learning business. And it's just like, even with me coming from a family that did the business, I still did not understand the back end of the business.
Yeah, I do. I relate way too much to what you're saying because I'm the same way. Like you just jump in, you just make it happen. Like all this stuff should just be able to work its way out, but you have to take time to work it out because it don't. Like when you're talking about, you know, entities, all that kind of stuff, contracts, making sure it's all right. And you know, the construction industry is a real handshake industry, and that can be dangerous.
It can, especially now. And you have sharks. You have people that are sharks. You have sharks in this water. Like this is what did I say? Being this is serious business, and you don't realize these multi-million-dollar projects you're doing, these contracts you're bidding for. You know, it's guys that would sabotage your site for them to win over the site, win the job because you're stalled out. There's things you have to learn. Security cameras on your site, tarping. You have to have privacy gates. How do you have porta potties? Make sure the porta potty's clean. It's all these different things that most people don't think about when it comes to construction. Like everything costs too. It's not free porta potties. They're not free gates that you got to get. Like, you know, you try to when you cut corners in construction, you could hurt somebody, and you cut corners in construction, it could cost you a lot of money. And I mean, I think that's with any business, but specifically what we do, I can't, you know, speak on it enough. Just the importance of just doing good business and doing things the right way.
I 100% agree. And I think that is a great way to end it, is just do good business. Like make sure it's all right. So for all the champions out there, if they wanted to follow you, talk to you, get connected with you, where's the best places for them to do that?
Matt, Ron, appreciate you. They can find me on Shaq Conquers, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, my construction company, Conquered REI, Conquered Construction. They can find it. We were originally, literally a glazing company. We first started off at glazing, and then I had to move it in because people were just like, well, what else can you guys do? I was like, well, I mean, we do a little bit of everything. You need rebar, you need concrete. You need so you guys can find me all there. I'm open for any questions. I love this community. This is the community of second chances to construction. I've seen people, felons. I've seen people who were alcoholics that were able to make a really good living in this. I just believe, like I said in the beginning of this, Ron, this is the American. This would help build America, and I hope construction can make America great again. I pray it does, you know. But yeah,
I'm right there with you, man. I think construction is an amazing industry. It's an amazing space where people can do amazing things. Like, it don't matter where you came from, what you did, like, you just got to show up and be the example of what the industry needs. And you're definitely doing that. I mean, you're running an impressive business. I love it. You have a lot of great insight. I think everybody should go follow you and continue on what you're doing, man. Thank you for taking the time to be on the show today.
No, it was my pleasure. I'm honored, man, and I'm open to learning anything you have to give me on just my business, man. I'm just big on learning and then just expanding and just networking with people, because you don't know what you don't know, and what you don't know, go find it.
Absolutely, man. Well, you have a great day, and once again, thank you for being on the show.
No, thank you as well, Ryan. Have a blessed one.
All right. Hey, construction champions, another great episode where we talked about moving that bar. What are you doing? What are you doing every day? Like, literally. How many jobs are you on? What are you doing? I mean, you're probably doing most of the time stuff you hate doing. I'll tell you why you hate doing it. It's because it's not what you're meant to do. Like, grow that business in a way where you're not doing the stuff you're not good at. We should always be trying to figure out, how do I lean into my strengths? How do I get rid of my weaknesses? If you don't understand that, there is multitudes of different ways to understand your strengths and weaknesses. Actually, now I'm talking about one of our sponsors on the show. They offer a free DISC assessment. Go take that. That'll enlighten you a lot about your personality and what you like to go do. But construction champions, go check out our website. Join our free mastermind group where we're connecting listeners and guests and everybody in the industry. That's on Facebook, Construction Champions Mastermind, constructionchampionspodcast.com. And until next time, go be the champion you were meant to be.
Introducing HomeTrack. We create digital new home profiles using homeowner specifications, pictures, and warranty policies, replacing the large paper binders normally provided by home builders to their buyers. We also digitize the final blue tape walkthrough and instantly create a punch list that both builders and homeowners can track until a resolution. By simplifying the handover process, we are saving home builders time and money.